Hi friends, good morning and welcome to this new class. I am quite sure you all will be learning very hard, studying very hard. Especially we are talking about the topic that is concerning all of us, about our future, about the future of the earth, about the future of humanity, and therefore we all must pay utmost attention to see what we can do in order to save our other planet and so on. So the other days we were talking about how the development can cause the disaster to the nature, or how we must have that proper concern for the nature at the time of development and so on. We cannot just ignore the development and say we want to preserve the nature. At the same time, we cannot conduct developmental activities at the expense of the nature. Both should go hand in hand. Development is required, at the same time we need to preserve the nature as well. That is what we are going to do today, discuss today. We talk about sustainable development. We need to develop, at the same time we need to preserve our resources. So how can both be done together, or how can they go hand in hand? That is what we are going to see today. So we said yesterday also that the development should take place without damaging the environment. So we said yesterday that now if you find some deposits there, natural deposits or natural resources, let's say for example coal. So maybe it may be a forest area. So we cannot just go and cut down all the trees and say I want to take out this coal. So if you take out the coal, development will be possible, but the environment will be harmed. All the trees will be destroyed. So we need to do in such a way, with such a planning, with such a meticulous planning, so that the nature is not harmed. At the same time, development can go on. So we cannot just stop the development for the sake of nature. At the same time, we cannot just go on development at the expense of the nature. So both are important and we should do proper planning. So the people realize about the importance of this proper planning to go along with development as well as protecting or conserving the nature. And so the world leaders, they call a meeting. Or more than 100 people or leaders came from different countries, and they had together a meeting to find out what are the problems that the humanity is facing, or how can we find solution for that, or what is the method we have in order to protect the environment and so on. So that is called Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. Rio de Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. That is a place name in Brazil. So this is a place name in Brazil. I hope all those who are interested in football, they will be remembering the name Brazil. So this meeting was called or held in the place called Rio de Janeiro, and that it is called Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, and it was done in 1992. 1992, more than 30 years, almost 30 years ago. Then more than 100 heads of states met at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the first International Earth Summit. So that was the first time people coming together from different countries to discuss about the earth, how to protect the earth, how to preserve the earth, and so on. Then the summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. So what was the theme of this meeting? The theme was addressing urgent problems of the environmental protection. So the environment is getting affected. We need to do something more. We need to do some serious things. So that was the one agenda to discuss in this meet. At Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, they wanted to find out how to protect the problem, how to solve the problems of environment, how to protect the environment. And second one was how to do the socio-economic development at global level. So we need to protect one hand the environment, at the other side we need to do development at the socio-economic level. So both should go on. So how can we plan out? How can we do things? So all the world leaders need to plan and discuss together. One member alone is deciding for his country and others are not doing it or following it, then there won't be any benefit. So all the countries in the world, they should discuss together, plan together and stick to that decision, so that our environment will be protected and the development will go on at the same time. So we cannot just say my country environment will be good, other country environment is not good also, I don't mind. So environment is natural, it is common. So if my environment is not good, it is going to affect my neighboring countries also. I cannot say my environment is good, so what others do I don't care. If their environment is not good, that will affect ours also. So always we need to plan together, discuss together and try to bring a common solution to the problems. Then only we can really protect our environment. So the assembled leaders signed a declaration on global climatic change and biological diversity. So they made a document and all the leaders, all those who came for this meeting, they signed this document. What is the name of the document? Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. So that was the name of the topic, or the topic that they signed. What is it? Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21 for achieving sustainable development in the 21st century. So they all endorsed a plan, decided to follow up a plan that will keep up the global forest principles. So one thing is that we have to agree, all have to agree to protect the forest. So that one was discussed as Agenda 21. Let us see what is that Agenda 21. So Agenda 21 is a declaration signed by world leaders in 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. So during the United Nations meeting, they had made this point about the environment and development, which took place at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It aims at achieving global sustainable development. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interests, mutual needs and shared responsibilities. So during this meeting, what did they discuss? and they discussed and decided that we must combat environmental damage. Combat means check. We must check the damage that is being caused to the environment. Then we must check poverty. Some people are becoming richer and richer, but other people are becoming poorer and poorer. So there should be some kind of equality. So we must check the poverty. The poor people need to be helped. Then diseases. We have to check the diseases. Some diseases are very severe and lakhs of people are affected and die away. So we must check such kind of sicknesses should not be there. Then how are we going to check all these things? Through global cooperation on common interest. So it is not that one country alone need to give cooperation, but the cooperation should come from globally. All the countries in the world should cooperate each other to fight against the environment degradation, then the poverty, disease and so on. It is a responsibility of every country in the world. So everyone should cooperate and try to bring the desired result. Then we need also mutual needs. So we need each other. We cannot say I have everything so I don't bother to others. So we need to help each other. We may not require the others' help. If we have everything, then we can share with others. So that way we can help others. Then we can also share our responsibilities. We cannot just say it is their duty to check. My part is okay. No, we need to share the responsibility. So we need to share the resources that we have. We need to help each other in their need. We need to share the responsibilities of protecting the environment, removing the poverty, fighting against the diseases and so on. Then one major objective of the Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local agenda. So every country, the situation may not be same. Some country may have more environmental degradation. Some countries may have more poverty, more diseases. So each country should draw a plan. How am I going to fight against the environmental degradation? How am I going to eliminate poverty from my country? How am I going to fight against the severe diseases in my country? So every country should present a plan. They should draw a plan, an action plan, and they should present to the UN. Then they will put all these plans together and they will see where and which country needs more help, which country can take a more responsibility and so on. So that is a responsibility of everyone, a global responsibility. So that was the discussion that was held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil under the leadership of the United Nations, and there more than 100 heads of the states means countries, 100 head of the countries came and they all discussed together and they signed a memorandum, they signed a declaration on global climatic change and biological diversity, and then they discussed together to fight against the environmental damage, the poverty, the disease and so on. And every country or every head of the country were entrusted with drawing up an action plan. How are they going to fight against this environmental degradation, the sickness, the poverty and so on. That way they will be able to know each other, help each other and help the whole world, all the countries in the world to come out of their present situation while protecting the environment. The development also should go on. Now let us see how to do this sustainable development, and for that what is required. And we say what is the most important thing is that we need to do planning. Without planning it is very difficult. We cannot achieve the goal. We need to do certain planning. So for development, what is needed is, most needed is resource. Therefore, we need to have resource planning. So the resource planning is required. Let's see how to do this planning. So planning is widely accepted strategy for judicious use of resources. So if you want to use the resources in our country in a judicious manner, judicious means in a just manner, not just overusing it or not just using very scarcely and preserving, that is not, both are not correct. So we must use only what is needed for us. So without using, keeping it also is not good, and overusing and forgetting about tomorrow's use, that also is not good. So we must use it in a very judicious way. That means a good judgment. We should be able to make a good judgment. How much is required for this year, and if I use this much, how much more will be left? How much development will I be able to do it? Or then they have to do certain planning, resource planning. Then it has important in the country like India. So in a country like India, where resources are very scarce, resources are not in plenty, we need to do certain planning, very meticulous planning we have to do. Otherwise we are not going to be preserving our resources. Afterwards we will be suffering due to lack of resources. So India has got enormous diversity in the availability of resources. So some places in India has got plenty of resources. There is lot of resources are there. And certain regions, they are very rich in certain types of resources, but are deficit in some other resources. So if you go to some areas or some states, we will find that state is very rich in certain resources. They don't have all the resources that they require, but certain resources they have plenty, but some other resources they are lacking. So that is there in throughout India. So the resources are not equally divided in India. It is divided unequally. Let's see the example. There are some regions which can be considered self-sufficient in terms of the availability of resources, and there are some regions which are acute shortage of some vital resources. So if you go through some of the states in India, we can see they have plenty of resources, minerals and other things, and they can be self-sufficient. They can have enough money by using these resources, or they can do enough development by using these resources. But as we move around to other parts of the country, we will find that region is very dry. They don't have enough natural resources at all. So they have to completely depend on other states. So, for example, let us say the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh, they are rich in minerals and coal deposits. So some states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh, they are very rich in minerals. Plenty of mineral deposits are there, especially the coal deposits. Plenty of coal minerals are there. Which are they? Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. These three states are very rich in minerals. But Arunachal Pradesh has got abundance of water resources but lacks in infrastructural development. So if you come to our state, Arunachal Pradesh, we find that there's plenty of water resources. Many big rivers are there. Since we are at the foothills of Himalayas, we have plenty of rivers are there, and these rivers have got plenty of water. So we are very rich in water resources, but we lack infrastructural development. We don't have proper roads, we don't have proper buildings, and so on. So infrastructural development, roads, buildings, other buildings, all that, the factories, all these we are liking. So the states, different states in India have got different deposits, different types or different amount of deposits are there. Nowhere it is equal. Then the state of Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy but lacks water resources. So if you go to Rajasthan, what happens? Rajasthan has got plenty of solar energy. It's a hot region, the desert is there, and so they are very hot. The region is very hot, but they like water. So a hot region should have plenty of water, because for agriculture, for domestic use, for people and animals to drink, and so they need plenty of water. So they like water. So natural power like solar energy is there, but another important thing, water they do not have. Then the cold desert of Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country. If you go to Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir side, the cold region, and it is always covered with ice. If you go there, what happened? The place is very scarcely populated. The population is very less, and it has very rich cultural heritage, but it is deficient in water. So this place has got very good cultural heritage. They have got very good cultural heritage, but they also like Rajasthan, they also like water for the people. That is one reason why the people are not staying there much. And they do not have also infrastructure and some of the vital minerals. They do not have infrastructure development like roads and buildings and houses, and so they do not have much. They also don't have even the vital minerals that are required for the people. And this calls for balanced resource of planning at the national, state, regional and local levels. So we saw some examples. Some states have got plenty of minerals, and some states do not have anything at all. Some states have got some resources, but they do not have all the essential things, and so on. So Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, they have plenty of minerals, they have plenty of coal deposits. Arunachal has got plenty of water, and Rajasthan has got plenty of solar energy. Ladakh has got plenty of cultural heritage, but then they also like something. They like water, and Arunachal likes infrastructure development. Rajasthan likes water, and so. So some have got something, others have got something else. So in order to make it available for everyone, there should be proper planning at the central government level, at the national level, then at the state level, at the district level, at the local level, and so on. So everyone should sit and plan out how much resources we have, how much do we need. So what is extra should be given to others, so that other regions of our country also will develop. They also will be economically coming up. Otherwise we will become very selfish and we will be thinking only about houses and other areas of the country. The population there will suffer. So that is a really bad thing. So we need to do proper planning, and then we will be able to improve the all-round development of our country. All the people in our country will be able to develop and achieve the economic status, improve their economic status. So we shall wind up for today, and we'll meet you again how we are planning to have that resource planning in India. So this resource planning should be done in national level, state level, local level, and so let's see how our government is planning to do it, or what steps have they taken in order to do this national planning. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.